Imagine you haven't eaten in 2 days. You know exactly where the herd is. You tracked it yesterday. You mapped the route in your head. And now, all you have to do is get there. And then, it starts raining. Not a light drizzle. A heavy, soaking, wind-driven rain. That doesn't stop. It goes all day, then all night, then the next morning. And it's still going. You can't hunt. You can't see tracks because the mud washed them away. You can't move through the open because wet ground and bare feet on rocky terrain means a twisted ankle. And a twisted ankle out here means death. You're not bored. You're trapped. Today, when it rains, you close your window, make some coffee, grab a blanket, open Netflix. You sink into the couch and let the sound wash over you. For you, rain is background noise. It makes you feel calm, sleepy. You might not even make it through the episode, but for a human being, 50,000 years ago, that same rain, the exact same sound you're falling asleep to, could kill you in 3 different ways before it even stopped. The first one is cold. A wet human loses body heat up to 25 times faster than a dry one. Without waterproof shelter, a long rainstorm in anything below 50 degrees Fahrenheit could push your core temperature into hypothermia range within hours. Most of the world our ancestors lived in got that cold at night, even in Africa, during the wet season, at higher elevations. The second one is flooding. Caves and rock shelters, the main places humans lived, are often at the base of hillsides or near rivers. Heavy rain meant flash floods. Archaeologists have found layers of flood sediment inside occupied caves, meaning the water came in while people were living there. Some of those caves were never used again. And the third one, maybe the worst, is predators. Rain drove animals into shelter too. And sometimes, that shelter was the same cave you were in. There are cave sites in South Africa where human remains and large cat remains are found in the same layers. Some of those humans have puncture marks in their skulls that match leopard teeth perfectly. So rain didn't just make life uncomfortable, it compressed the entire world. Humans, predators, prey, all of them squeezed into the same small dry spaces at the same time. And in the middle of all of that, one job mattered more than everything else: keeping the fire going. Here's why that was terrifying. For most of human history, most people probably couldn't start a fire from scratch. Controlling a fire that already exists and creating one from nothing are 2 completely different skills. If your fire went out, you might not be able to relight it. You'd have to carry an ember from somewhere else. Some groups actually did this. They transported smoldering coals wrapped in green leaves or packed inside a woody mushroom called tinder fungus that could catch a spark and smolder inside itself for hours. It was basically a biological lighter, and we know this wasn't just theory. When they found Ötzi the Iceman, the 5,300-year-old man preserved in the Alps, he was carrying a complete fire kit in his belt pouch. Tinder fungus, flint, iron pyrite for striking sparks, extra plant tinder as backup. Even 5,000 years ago, losing your fire was serious enough that people carried dedicated equipment to prevent it. So when rain hit, the first priority wasn't shelter, it was the fire. Move it deeper into the cave, shield it with hides, feed it carefully. One person's entire job during a rainstorm might have been just sitting next to that fire for hours, keeping it alive, because that fire was everything: warmth, light, safety, cooked food, and the center of every social interaction the group had. Letting it go out wasn't just careless, it was potentially fatal for everyone. All right, the fire is going. You're mostly dry, but you cannot leave. So what do? You make things. The archaeological record is very clear on this. Caves are packed with evidence of manufacturing. Stone tools in every stage of production. Tiny chips of rock that fly off when you're shaping a flint blade, found concentrated in specific spots inside caves, exactly where someone would sit, near firelight, and work for hours. At Blombos Cave in South Africa, archaeologists found a 100,000-year-old ochre processing workshop, abalone shells used as mixing bowls, ochre ground into powder, bone tools used to stir and apply it. This wasn't basic survival. This was production. Someone sat in that cave, probably while the rain pounded outside, and manufactured pigment on purpose with a system. And then there are the bone needles. They start appearing in the record around 61,000 years ago in South Africa. Delicate, precise, with tiny drilled eyes. You don't make a bone needle while you're running from something. You make it when you're sitting still, focused, with hours to spare. But here's where it gets strange. At a site called Hohle Fels Cave in Germany, archaeologists found a 35,000-year-old tool carved from mammoth ivory, 4 holes, spiral grooves, designed specifically for twisting plant fibers into rope. Someone sat in that cave and carved a dedicated rope-making machine. Making rope is slow, repetitive, requires patience. It's the perfect bad weather task. And rope changed everything. Tie things together, build better shelters, create snares and traps, bind tools to handles. An incredible amount of human technology runs on string. And string was almost certainly invented by someone stuck inside, waiting for the rain to stop. And then there's the art. Chauvet Cave in southern France. Paintings, roughly 36,000 years old. Lions, horses, rhinos, bears, drawn with a level of skill that still shocks people today. The artists understood anatomy, movement, perspective. Some of the animals are drawn mid-stride, muscles tensed, heads turning. These aren't doodles. These are the work of people who watched these animals for thousands of hours and then recreated them from memory, deep underground, by firelight. And Chauvet isn't alone. Sulawesi, in Indonesia, cave art, dating to at least 45,000 years ago, the oldest known figurative art in the world. But here's what matters most about these paintings. They're not at the entrance of the cave. They're deep, sometimes hundreds of meters in, through narrow passages, in chambers you'd have to crawl to reach. Someone carried animal fat lamps into total darkness and painted. Nobody does that when the weather's perfect and the hunting's good. You do that when you can't go outside, when the rain has been falling for 2 days and you've already sharpened every tool you own, and there's nothing left to do but go deeper into the dark and create something. But here's the part that changes everything. All of that, the tools, the rope, the needles, the paintings, that's the individual work. What happened between people during those days of being trapped together is bigger. Think about what happens when 15 to 30 people are forced into a confined space for days with nothing to do. You talk, you listen, you share information. In 2014, anthropologist Polly Wiessner studied the hoansi Bushmen of the Kalahari. During the day, about 80% of conversations were practical, land, resources, logistics. But at night, around the fire, over 80% of conversation shifted to stories, songs, ceremonies. The firelight changed what people talked about. It softened faces, reduced tension, created a space where people opened up, and the stuff being shared wasn't small talk. It was survival, where the water sources dry up in summer, which plants are safe to eat, how to track a specific animal. That's not gossip. That's critical knowledge moving from one brain to another through speech. And then, beyond the practical, There were the stories, myths, explanations for why the rain comes and where it goes. Every ancient culture on Earth has rain mythology. Someone invented those stories, and they almost certainly did it while sitting in the exact situation the story was trying to explain. Here's how powerful that storytelling actually was. The oldest verified oral traditions on Earth are Australian Aboriginal stories describing sea level changes that happened roughly 7,000 years ago. Those stories survived for 7,000 years through nothing but people telling them to each other. That kind of cultural memory doesn't develop unless groups spend enormous amounts of time doing exactly that, sitting together, retelling over and over and over again. Rainy days weren't dead time. They were transmission time, the days when knowledge moved from the old to the young, when the group's collective memory got reinforced, when culture was made. And here's the part nobody expects. Rain wasn't always bad. After heavy rain, the ground is soft, and soft ground means perfect tracks. Deep, clear, detailed. You can see exactly which animals walked past, how long ago, how fast they were moving, and where they went. Some of the best tracking conditions in the world come right after rain stops. Mushrooms explode after rain. Tubers are easier to dig from wet soil. Insects come to the surface. In tropical Africa, termites swarm after rain, one of the most protein-dense foods available. You don't need tools. You don't need weapons. You just pick them up. So what did ancient humans do when it rained all day? Everything. That mattered. They kept the fire alive. They made the tools they'd use for the next hunt. They sewed the clothing that would keep them warm through winter. They twisted the rope that would hold their shelters together. They ground the pigment they'd use to paint animals on cave walls deep underground. They told the stories that would carry survival knowledge across generations. And when the rain finally stopped, they walked outside into soft ground covered in perfect animal tracks and got back to work. Rain didn't slow them down. It gave them time to prepare for everything that came next. Every tool, every piece of clothing, every story, every painting on a cave wall, all of it came from downtime, from the hours and days when they couldn't go out and had nothing to do except sit near a fire and think. Boredom didn't exist for them the way it does for you, because when you're sitting in a cave with rain hammering outside and your survival depends on what you make with your hands, in the next few hours, you don't get bored, you get creative, and that might be the single biggest reason we're still here.